Hello and welcome to the first match preview of our new Premier League season. As you can see, we're at the Cottage and we're joined by Robbie from AFTV. Nice of you to come down. Fulham v Arsenal, first game of the season, the opening game of the season. How are you feeling about the game?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, but it's funny, isn't it? Because I would have been really, really looking forward to it if we were allowed in. But obviously, because of what's going on, there's going to be no fans, and I think it's going to be really disappointing to watch the game from that point of view because, I think first game of the season, you guys had just come up. I think the place would have been buzzing, and yeah, it would have made it a real spectacle. But now it's going to be a different type of game because there's no fans in there. But I think that could work to our advantage because you see a lot of teams when they come up to the new division, they've got that extra adrenaline, with the fans. It's the first game. This is what we've worked so hard to get to, and they're really pumped. You're not going to have those fans in, and I think that could work to our advantage.
It's going to be an interesting one. I mean, Arsenal obviously they're a better team than us, and they've got a bit of an advantage. They had the FA Cup final against Chelsea, and you had the Community Shield final against Liverpool, which of course you won as well. That's a good pre-season. I mean, that's something to get excited about. That's a trophy under the belt already. Whereas we've had a couple of games, haven't really been reported on much. But how are you feeling with pre-season? I mean, the game against Liverpool, you won, you played well. The first goal you scored was very, very good. Do you think that kind of Arteta playing out from the back is going to work against Fulham?
Yeah, I mean, you say we've had a pre-season. We haven't really. That's the thing. We had one friendly against MK Dons. Because I remember our season finished a lot later than everyone else because we had to play the FA Cup final. Then we had that one game against MK Dons, and then we had to play the Community Shield. And a lot of the players didn't really play in that game because it came around so quickly after the end of our season. So effectively, we've not really had a pre-season. I hear what you're saying because this Community Shield is a very competitive game to have in there, but we've not effectively had a proper pre-season. There's a lot of players that haven't played yet. None of our new players have really played in any games yet. So we haven't effectively had a pre-season, but Arteta's got the team playing well. In that game against Liverpool, as I said, with a weakened team, we turned them over. And yeah, he will continue playing out from the back. That's his way of playing. And his way of playing is that he wants the players to be really brave, play out from the back, bring teams on, and then we've got those weapons up front, in Aubameyang, and he's been looking very, very sharp in all games recently. So it's get the ball up to him and try and make him do the damage. But it's going to be interesting because, as I said, there's so many players that haven't played. Pepe hasn't played since the end of the season. Lacazette didn't play in that Community Shield game either. So it's going to be interesting to see what the team is on that day.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Last question before I bring you into it. Dani Ceballos just signed on a loan deal. That's a really good deal. Obviously, he's a fantastic player. You brought in Gabriel as well. How are you feeling about the new signings ahead of the new season?
Yeah, well, and also we've got William Saliba, who we signed last season. I don't get the feeling they won't play, though, because, again, they've not really had any games to kind of get them used to the team. And I think it might be a bit of a gamble to maybe start with Saliba or Gabriel. The players that I'm going to be very interested to see, Ceballos, as you said, I think he probably will play. That's a great move to bring him back. He was really on fire towards the end of the season. And the other one that I'm looking forward to seeing that I think could be a good signing for us, and just used to be up the road from you guys, of course, Willian. And I think that's a very underrated signing that we've made there because got him on loan. All right, I know he's a little bit old. But last year, if you look at his running stats and that was some of the best for Chelsea. He played in practically every game. He's a super fit guy. And he's a very, very skillful player. And he knows the Premier League inside out. And I think that could be a very, very good signing for Arsenal. And I'm really interested to see what dynamic he's going to bring to the team. It'd be very interesting to see if he starts against Fulham.
Joe?
Yeah, I was going to ask you said about the new signings and obviously William Saliba, who came in last year and went out on loan. How do you think they'd cope with Mitrovic if they play?
Well, that's why they might not play, because, you're coming up. I always look at it and say the Premier League is different to a lot of the other leagues. It's different to Liga, and you're not going to get well, you get a physical player like a Mitrovic, but he'll get away with a lot more in the Premier League than what he will over in France. So that's why I think they might just hold back those two new signings and go with the experience of probably Rob Holding and David Luiz. But certainly Mitrovic, I rate him. He's a strong physical player. He's a good player. He's a Premier League player. Even when I saw a few of your games last year, and you can see he's still a Premier League player. So you've done well to keep hold of him. That's going to be a task to look after him. But then David Luiz, he's a weird player. One day, he's a world beater. Nothing gets past him. You know what I mean? He'll have, against City in the semi-final, against Chelsea in the final, against Liverpool, he was outstanding. Then you'll have another day where he could be playing a team down the park. And, they'll do him. So if he's on it, he can look after Mitrovic, but they're going to have to be on it. He's a good player.
Yeah. Other than Mitrovic, is there anyone else you're looking out for as a threat to Fulham? Obviously, Mitrovic scored most of our goals last year, but is there anyone else that you're a bit wary of?
It's I think Kearney is a good player. I watched the final against Brentford, and I think looking at Fulham, it's like a team. It looked like an all-round team that's well managed and it has a game plan. And I remember them playing in that game against Brentford. And they were obviously very pumped. I think Brentford had said a few things before the game, almost thinking that they were going to walk it, because they'd beaten you twice, and you were pumped up for the game, and you really played well. But what I took from that is that it's a good team. It's a good team and a very well organised team. The defence was good, so we're going to have to be on it. But I'm confident. Arsenal got a good record here. I remember the last time we came here under Unai Emery. We won 5-1, we was all singing, we got our Arsenal back, we thought it was happy days, and then after that it just went downhill. But we do have a good record here, so that's what gives me confidence. And the other thing, as I said, that gives me a lot of confidence is the fact that you haven't got the fans in there. I think that really does think that works to our advantage, because I think this place would have been absolutely rocking. And a lot of times you see, as I said, teams that come up. I saw Norwich last season, early on in the campaign, when you went to Carrow Road, that was a difficult place to go to. Later on, it weren't, once teams sort of sussed them out. But in the beginning, and it was the fans that had, were bringing an extra 10, 15% out of the players. Without that here, it's going to be, that levels it up a lot more for us as an away team coming here. So, yeah, I'm confident. I'm confident that we can get a win. And there's a good little feel-good factor around Arsenal at the moment because the way we finished off the season. In the league, we were horrendous. But the way we finished it off, winning the FA Cup, we beat Man City, we beat Liverpool, we beat Chelsea, we beat Wolves away. Under Arteta, you're starting to see signs and you're thinking, there's something with this guy. So, confident we can do something.
Before I ask you for your score prediction, a couple more things. David Raya, who's Brentford's keeper in the final, Brentford's keeper all season. Is
it Raya? I thought it was Raya.
David Raya.
Raya.
He's been trying to force a move, kind of, to Arsenal. And then we've also been linked with the same player, Areola from Real Madrid and PSG. Looks like we could win the race today for Areola. But what do you think of David Raya? Because obviously the Leno situation, he got injured against Brighton really badly. Martinez came in, did fantastically well, but apparently Martinez now wants first team football.
Yeah, we've got probably for the first time in a very, very long time, right? We've got two brilliant goalkeepers. We've got Leno, who up until him getting injured, it was between him and Aubameyang as our best player of the season. He was unbelievable. But then Martinez has come in and he's been unbelievable as well. And I don't know, I get the feeling that we'll end up keeping both. We could maybe, I saw that Raya in the final, man. The way he got beaten in that free kick, that worried me. I was like, you know what, I don't know if I'd want, I'm not too sure if that would be, but if he did come to Arsenal, it'd be as a backup goalkeeper to either Leno or Martinez. So it'd probably be Leno because it's Martinez if we're going to be able to keep hold of him. But I tell you, he's an outstanding goalkeeper, and Fulham should be, if anything, you should be trying to buy him because to me, I think he's one of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League. I'm hoping that we can keep hold of both of them. we are looking to buy some other players as well, and with this COVID thing, cash is a bit short. So will Arsenal cash in on him? Because he's only on about £20,000 a week, which is nothing for a player of his stature. So to keep hold of him, they're going to have to offer him a new deal. It's going to be interesting to see how that one. Be interesting to see who starts here on Saturday. Whether it's Leno played for Germany in the week, or if it's going to be Martinez. But yeah, the Raya thing. Listen, if Martinez goes, maybe we might go back in for him. But I'm hoping that we keep both. That's one position we are very, very strong in at the moment. Is that we've got two excellent keepers.
Finally, from me, you can kind of draw some parallels between Scott Parker and Mikel Arteta. Both finished their career at the club they now manage. Parker's now first,
Both young.
But yeah, both young. Parker's first full season in the Premier League with Fulham, and Arteta's first full season in the Premier League with Arsenal. Where do you see Arsenal finishing? What about Europe? Are you confident you can get back in the Champions League?
It's tough.
It's tough, man. You know what? I find that question really hard to answer until after the transfer window closes. If Arsenal go out there and get, say, a Thomas Partey, Hossein Aouar, which is two of the big targets they're looking at, if they could get those two along with what they've signed already, and with the manager we've got, the way he's been doing stuff, I can see a top four challenge. I really can see that we could get into the top four. If we don't get those two players, I still think we may finish outside that top four, but we're making progress. It's a progression. We're coming from a dark place, man. Not as dark as getting relegated. I know, Fulham fans will say, "Oh yeah, stop moaning," but we're coming from in the football. I think that when we played there, that was about one of the only decent performances. After that, we were terrible. You know what I mean? And we've been so bad. And then Arteta's come in and he's brought a breath of fresh air. He's got the team playing. You know what I mean? It's looking like Arsenal again. And I'm really confident that he's the person to move this team forward. But to get into the four, we could do some still a couple of signings away, I think.
Any more questions?
I was just going to say about the Leno and Martinez thing. Do you think Leno will get the nods?
Jeez. Personally, if I was in charge, I'd start Martinez. I just look at it and say, he's done nothing wrong. He's come in since that injury, and he's been outstanding. He hasn't put a foot wrong. To me, the next keeper has to earn your position back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I keep Martinez in goal. I really do like him. He's strong, commanding as well. I look at it as well with what you said of Mitrovic earlier. Martinez is a guy as well, where I think he's a bit stronger than Leno. He really commands his box. So I think with Mitrovic in there, I'd definitely keep Martinez in goal, yeah.
We're about 72 hours till kick-off. Can I get you a score prediction?
I'm going to go 3-1 to Arsenal. I think Aubameyang, he's really been on form. He scored a couple of goals in a friendly the other day. He scored 2 goals in the final. He scored 2 goals in the Community Shield. This guy's on fire at the moment, man. And I fancy him to get a couple more this weekend.
Just finally, is he signing that new contract?
He ain't signed yet. Yeah, everything I've been told is that he's going to sign. And it's all like, I just don't understand why it's not been announced yet. Let's hope if he don't sign, we're done. We need him. He's a great player.
Yeah, he's terrific. Anyway, thanks so much for joining us down here. Opening game of the season, Fulham v Arsenal, BT Sport 12:30. Obviously, we can't be here, but we'll be there in spirit. I hope. Hopefully, we get the result. Don't think we will, but great way to start the season. Thanks very much, Joe. Thanks very much, Robbie. We'll see you for more content. We'll see you for maybe we're going to do a little Premier League prediction before the season starts. And busy day at the Craven Cottage apparently today with a few signs coming in. Thanks very much for watching. We'll see you again. Come on, Fulham.